What's up, chat? Hello. I'm only slightly late. Just a little bit. What's good, chat? I hope you're well and doing good. We're here. Uh, yeah. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. I'm here briefly. I say briefly because I still have to pack. I'm sorry, thank you for the 19 months. Much
Sorry,
appreciated.
just subscribed. Sup, nerd.
All right, can y'all guess what we're here to talk about, chat? Can y'all I bet you can't. Bet you can't. Bet you can't guess. That's right, it's Ludwig. Yeah, we're here to talk about Ludwig. Cause I saw a tweet. That's right. Yeah, this is one of the top says. I saw that. Yeah. I did see when you look at the poop emoji. Also, DDG getting owned by Jay Versace was hilarious. You know, I will always take DDG slander in stride. You know, if I ever need to feel better, I just look at that. Saw Peach say something similar to London and disappointing how these people are making this about them. I don't think Peach Jar said something similar to Ludwig. At the very least, I know where Peach stands on on Ethan specifically. I know because Peach likes my tweets, so. I don't know who DDG's content is for, but the dude no entertainment value at all. His entertainment value is just like he has pretty women and around him, kind of. That's the entire thing. And it's about him being on stream looking sad. Hold on. It's about him being on stream looking sad whenever Hallie's doing something. Like Hallie's living her best life, and DG is just like, I miss my son. That's like half the content. Half the content is just like him just having pretty women around him to make himself feel better. That's kind of it. But yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Oh right, the poop thingy. Where's it at? This was this is such a funny interaction as well. Here, I also gotta lock in a little bit because I don't have that much time. The reason why I want to go live today. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second. Here it's his DDG saying that he paved the way for content creators to make music. No one will ever touch his level musically.
Bro, I paved the way for a nigga like Reggie to even have a chance to even fucking think that he can make music and succeed in this shit. I'm the nigga that paved the way, brother. I'm the nigga that did this shit first. I'm the nigga that made it cool for motherfuckers to make music from YouTube and do all this other shit. So you need to respect me. Believe it or not, nigga, I tell you this, I guarantee you, bro, you would never in your entire life of living make it as far as me when it comes to this music shit. I don't give a fuck if you get a fucking feature from Drake himself and Adele on the hook. You will never be as big as me in music, ever in your life. You cannot say...
Like, he's not like an indie artist, like I'll admit that, but he's acting like he's literally Kendrick Lamar himself. He's acting like he's the reincarnation of Tupac. He's acting like he is the reincarnation of Tupac, being like, there's nothing you could ever do to get as big as me. No, there is. Right? You're not like untouchable. Like, that's just like what are we talking about here? Honestly, if he was just less insufferable, I think less people would like talk about him. You know, if he was just like less insufferable, but like he speaks with such hubris. You're just like, come on. Who's younger than Sean? I think he is actually. No, I think he might be 26. I'm turning 25. Or he's 27. Okay, no, he's like 3 years older than I am. Yeah, he's like 3 years older than I am. He's ancient. That's crazy. But so Jay Versace replied, "LOL." So Jay Versace is was a Vine star, turned YouTuber, TikToker, things of that nature. Right, who's like producing music for like SZA, and things of that nature. Like, and so Jay Versace responded with LOL to 236,000 likes. Crazy. DDG then responded with anti-blackness for some reason. I didn't really understand this much. Right? He said you got a double barrel shotgun nose. Like, well, I don't know what this has to do with like your lyrical talent or your musical ability. But yeah, I mean, sure, go for it, I guess. Okay. But then Jay responded, India loves it though.
That's one of the most talented niggas in this earth. If y'all don't know who
Oops, sorry.
That's one of the most talented niggas in this earth. If y'all don't know who Jay Versace is, y'all living under a rock. That's one of the most talented.
Yeah, and to which he responded, what talent got to do with your nose though, gang? Mad face? Pouting face, actually, excuse me. And his person said, mind you, you type in the poop music, and then the first result is DDG. Does this actually work? Actually, I don't have Apple Music, so I can't test. I stopped paying for Apple Music. I mean my parents stopped paying for it. Let's see. Poop. Poop. That's crazy. That's crazy. Nah, I had to take myself out back and yell at myself. I'd have to take myself out back and yell at myself. I promise you. I'm in the UK for reference, and it even works for me. That's wild. I just check Spotify and the same thing happens. Okay, I can check Spotify on my okay, here. I need the poop emoji. Poop emoji. Copy. Okay, let's see.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
He's the first song that pops up on. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's wild. But pretty funny. But also wild. But also pretty funny. Anyway, this is what I want to talk about today, but I thought it was a pretty funny interlude. Also, we're almost halfway to 32K. That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick. So, yeah. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. Maybe that will go on my second channel. So I won't be live. Well, I might be live tomorrow, but over these past next few days, I might be like a little sporadically live. Like I'm live late today, to talk about what I want to talk about today. But like for like up until like I think like Tuesday of next week, I might be a little bit on and off. But you will still get uploads from me. I still have 3 videos that you're gonna get from me within the next about week or so. So look out for that. You're gonna get at least 3 videos next week, maybe more. Because what I might be doing is going back to my older VODs and clipping some of my older VODs into like videos for the second channel as well. So you're gonna get at least 1 second channel video and 2 main channel videos, and then a video on the main channel, what we're talking about today. Where's your name gray now? That Mango Sentinel has always had a great name. What's the second channel? The second channel is Sean the Black Live. Sean the Black Live. It's where I want to cut, like, I might put segments that are like, but this video has 15,000 views. That's crazy. It hit 10K when I last checked it. Right, this one didn't do well, but I didn't expect it to. 15,000, 18,000, 11,000, 30K. Pretty solid. Anyway, so yeah, Sean the Black Live is my second channel. We get 50 subs here, and you're probably gonna see more like 5 to 15-minute videos on that, like, you know, content quickie style. So if I talk about like something briefly, that's not enough content for a main channel video, I'll put it on the second channel. But you're gonna get more content from me in general. This is the link. Anyway, but y'all know why we're here. Y'all know why we are here today. If you saw my Twitter, you know, right? And I didn't go live this morning. Mostly because me and my girlfriend were watching Love Island. That's right. I've been pulled in. I've been purposefully like staying away from Love Island, but I have been pulled in. I've been pulled in. I don't know what to tell you. Ace can suck my nuts. He sucks. Right? He's a player. The girls do not deserve whatever he's putting out. He sucks. Like it's just the case. Jeremiah sucks that you don't. Jeremiah's not as bad as Ace is, to be fair. Like Jeremiah was, again, I'm not that far in yet. I'm not caught up. So, you know, careful on the spoilers, right? But from like the first like 5 or 6 or 7 episodes, like Jeremiah is just like fully in with Hutter. Like him and Hutter are like locked in like this, you know? Which she's also getting on my nerves too, but I won't speak too ill of my girl. Like she's chill. But you know, I'll say that. Who else do I not like? I don't like any of the men, bro. All of the men suck. Taylor sucks. Austin sucks. Charlie, I don't even know why he's there. Let's be real. Who else do we have? Nick is just a horn dog, okay? Nick is a full-on horn dog. He's just like Nick did Bella dirty because Bella was like, I'm here to find my good Christian love. And I'm like, Bella, you're on the wrong show, girl. Girl, you're on the wrong show. Episode 1, she's like, I'm here to find my Christian love, you know? And she not kissing people. And I'm like, Bella, I feel you. This ain't your show, girl. Like, you got to go somewhere else with that. You got to go somewhere else with that. And so when she got paired up with Nick, like, I knew that wasn't going to last from the jump. I knew for a fact that wasn't going to last from the jump because Nick was talking about he likes to suck some toes or whatever. He likes to get freaky and nasty in bed. He said he goes feral. And I'm like, you're telling me the guy who used the word feral to describe his behavior, and the girl who was like, I'm not even going to make out with people because I'm saving myself for the one, got paired up with each other, and we thought that was going to work out? No. No, that was never gonna work out. Not at all. So when, of course it didn't work out, then I'm like, yeah, of course it didn't work out. You're not gonna find your good Christian love on the show, despite all of the other men wearing crosses. I'm like, y'all gotta at least take those off Y'all gotta at least take those off. Maybe I get why she was confused because you got Taylor walking around with a cross on, Austin walking around with a cross on. Like half the men are walking around with crosses on too. Ace is walking around with crosses on, and then like they start doing. So I get how she was confused from the jump, but like she wasn't lasting anyway, right? And okay. This is the last thing I'll say about Love Island. But like, why are there so many racist people? Bro, every other week there is another contestant who gets exposed for saying a slur. Why has it happened so many times? Why has it happened so many times? It's happened like 3 separate occasions of somebody having to be kicked. It happened episode 2. Episode 2, someone was kicked off for saying a slur. Not on the show, but like in the past. And it's like unceremonious. This person has left the villa. I'm like, I wonder why. What slur did they say this time? What slur did they say this time? Jeez Louise, bro. Jeez Louise. It was the actual C slur. Yes, it was slur against Asian people, which I'm like, why? That's nothing I grew up hearing people talk about like that. Like I'm not even gonna get into it, but like honestly, I'm gonna be real. I wasn't a big Sierra fan anyway. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, cancel me. I wasn't a big Sierra fan anyway. I wasn't. I'm kind of glad she's gone. I'm gonna be real. The only person I like on this show right now, currently, a little bit slightly, is Shelly. Everybody else is just like have their own different types of bad. Anyway, sorry. I'm not caught up yet. I'm still like 20 episodes behind, technically. 20 episodes behind. But yeah, so I could keep going. But that's Love Island that my girlfriend has drugged me into. Right? And it's so funny because like the way she watches the show is so interesting. She's already seen it. Right? And so we'll be watching like episode 5 and she'll be like, oh, and I'll make a comment being like, you know, like, why is Huda crying right now? And if you've seen the show, you know that Huda cries a lot. And she's like, oh, just wait for this specific thing to happen. Actually, you know what? I will show you. And she jumps to episode 23 to show me a different instance that happens with like almost an entirely new cast of people. To show me a different instance of where Huda is crying. And I'm like, no spoilers. I don't know any of these people. She's like, oh no, it's not a spoiler. We're just watching this part. And we watched like half the episode. I'm just like, okay. We're like diametrically opposite people, right? She's somebody who loves spoilers, right? She will like watch a review of a movie before going to the movie, right? Just to see if she likes it or not. And I'm the opposite, right? I'm the opposite. I want to be going completely blind. I don't want to know anything about what's going on here. I want to experience everything as it's unfolding, right? Yes, I did cover Sierra using the C word. And my take on that is good riddance. I didn't like Sierra anyway. I didn't like Sierra anyway. So Stavi inter-house stream. Now I'm here. What's good, y'all? Are you anti-Stavi? That's pretty funny. Anyway, sorry. Focus up. I don't have a lot of time left, right? I'm here to talk about something. I'm not even here for y'all chat. I'm gonna be real. I'm here specifically for to make a Ludwig, not Ludwig, to make a video about Ludwig, right? So y'all can chat if y'all want to. I'm here to clip my thoughts on this so I can turn into a video when I'm offline for like a week or so. Yeah, spoiler, it's gonna be about Ludwig. But let's start. Let's start. So, my YouTube live stream. This actually all started because I saw a post from somebody on Twitter. I don't remember. I saw a post from somebody on Twitter that was like, "You'll never make me like Ludwig" or whatever, and I was just like, "What did Ludwig do now?" Get out. I'm trying to find the post. I don't know if I can find it. Y'all know the post I'm talking about? Let me see. I don't. Anyway, it's not important. But I saw that post and I was like, what did Ludwig do now? So, but apparently, Ludwig released a video. Trying to say Ludwig might not be a good person, decent, and human, but let's see. Probably on his like Ludwig channel, if I'm being real. Yeah. Ludwig released the video.
All right, chat.
18 hours
if
ago,
you guys haven't
titled Creator Clash 3 is over. Right. And so I think what the part that I want to talk about is at the end, but we'll just take a look at this video and see what he has to say about Creator Clash 3 being over. Because I have thoughts. Also, spoiler alert, yeah, Creator Clash 3 is over. It was canceled.
heard, there's been a big update. Creator Clash 3 is officially canceled. We talked about it a bit ago, so I figured it was worth doing an update because we talked about it maybe a couple of months ago. But they finally posted today, we've made the difficult decision
Lebron second channel? Yeah, Lebron is his second channel.
to cancel Creator Clash. All existing pay-per-view tickets will receive automatic refunds, no actions required. While the event will go as planned, all funds will still be donated to charity, and our fundraising efforts will continue the months ahead. Thank you to the fighters for their hard work. The Creator Clash team.
Was it this? Yeah, it was this one actually. This is the post that I saw. And there was no context when I clicked on it the first time. They said they could never make me like you, a Ludwig Ahlgren. I was like, what did Ludwig do? And so I went and I looked it up, and this is what it is I'm referring to. Which,
if I'm being totally candid, is like long time coming. I think it's probably long time coming. This has been dead for a while and like on life support. You know, this has been in a vegetative state. So it is, I think, ultimately the right call that they canceled it. Because if they had gone through with it, I think it would have done so bad. Ethan Klein did it. Okay, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I do think iDubbbz posting the content cop was one of the dumbest moves ever. Straight up. That was crazy. I think it was not considerate of how many other people would be dragged into the situation who don't give a fuck and just want to fight. You know, make that video when Creator Clash isn't happening, I would say. That makes no sense to me.
like, and I'm gonna explain to you why that makes no sense. And I'm taking the kitty gloves off. You know, this is a boxing reference. Gloves come off of this. This makes no sense to Ludwig because Ludwig is an unprincipled person, right? And I say this as a fan of Ludwig. I watch a lot of Ludwig. I enjoy Ludwig's content. This makes no sense to Ludwig because Ludwig is an unprincipled person. Like that's the answer. That is the reason why it cannot comprehend why Ian made the content cop. I don't know if he saw the content cop, right? I don't know if he watched the content cop, but like Ian made it clear in the content cop, and the content cop itself is very clearly from the perspective of defending people who do not have a voice to speak out against somebody with tens of millions of followers across all platforms, right? Doing a harassment campaign against smaller creators, right? And he cannot fathom putting himself at a disadvantaged position in order to support people who don't have a voice. So wasn't Ethan slamming Creator Clash before the content cop? Yes. Yeah, the content cop addresses like Ethan slamming Ian and Nisa and Creator Clash for no reason. That is addressed within the content cop. Which again, I don't know if Ludwig watched it or not. Right? Yeah, but have you considered that some of the biggest creators will be mildly inconvenienced by items defending small creators? Won't anyone think of the millionaire creators? Yeah, it's so weird. And for whatever reason, right? Right, the creator space, just as I spoke about earlier, doesn't care to defend the smaller creators here. Right? Whether it's because they are deemed as unworthy of defense because they are political adjacent, right? Not even just talking about the women, right? But people who they put in a box of being adjacent or around politics, so therefore they're not worth defending. You know? Like obviously like Denim Frogan, Casey Tron, but also like myself, right? Capri, Raph. Like there are like a dozen small creators that Ethan has put in his crosshairs to spend his entire content career now for the last 2 years disparaging and harassing. Right? And for the only focus of this entire campaign is to be like, from the aspect of like, oh, what about the fighters? You know? Oh, think of the fighters. I think that's saying something, right? For some reason, like small creators do not blip on Ludwig's radar to be talked about. You know, for some reason, he doesn't care enough, right? And the mass harassment stoked by somebody who has, thousands of times our audience doesn't register enough to him for him to talk about or for him to cover. I don't know what that reason is. I genuinely have no clue. Right? Maybe it's because he feels that as though Frogan has wronged him in the future or in the past. Right? Therefore, like he doesn't think that she deserves his defense. Maybe he doesn't want to be put in the crosshairs of Ethan as he was in the past. I don't know what it is, right? But for some reason, like this space as a whole has deemed itself as, or has deemed us, being like me and my friends, as unworthy of support. Right? Which is why he could only view this as like, oh, it was a bad business decision for Ian to create the content cop. And that's the only way he can view it. And not as though like, Ian's trying to defend people who he feels doesn't have a voice. You know who reached out to me when Ethan announced he was suing me? Ian did. Ian has 7 million subscribers on YouTube. He has a way larger established audience than I do. There's no reason for him to do something like that. Right? But he reached out to me to make sure that I was good, that I was okay. And for some reason, that doesn't register to Ludwig. I don't expect Ludwig to reach out to me specifically. You know what I mean? But like, that's not something that registers in his mind. That is unacceptable for Ludwig because it was a bad business decision. Because that's, for some reason, the only way Ludwig can view the situation. Maybe it's because of his whole mogul brand. It's on his freaking hoodie. It's on the hoodie that I bought from him for the last chess boxing event, Maybe that's what the reason is. But the truth is that if you were to watch the content cop itself, you would know that he was doing so in order to speak out as a large creator against somebody who is stoking a mass harassment campaign. And Ludwig is mad because he didn't wait until that harassment campaign escalated even further, right? And didn't give another 6 to 8 months to call it out. Also, it's freaking hot. I'm turning my AC back on. BRB. It's just disappointing, right? This is not even about Ludwig. I'm not talking about this to like come for like Ludwig specifically. Ludwig is just a proxy for my anger here. Apologies to Ludwig for that, but like this goes for like the entire space. You know, it's not a Ludwig problem, right? It goes for the entire ecosystem. For some reason, right? It's not that people don't know or aren't aware about what Ethan Klein is doing. It's not as though Ethan is not like a part of the story. Like Ludwig knows. This chatter brought it up. Wherever it was.
But I do think Ethan Klein did it. Okay.
Like, he knows. He's aware. And for some reason, he either doesn't think the people that Ethan Klein is disparaging are worth protecting, or he thinks that they deserve it. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the answer to Ludwig is. I don't know if he thinks that a small creators here deserves Ethan's ire for whatever reason. I don't think if he thinks it's acceptable for Ethan to like weaponize his again, multi-million follower audience against people with a fraction of his audience size consistently for months on months on months on end. Right? But for whatever reason, this has not been a blip on his radar. And when it is get brought up, he has more of an issue with Ian actually doing what he should be doing. Like, if we're being real, right? He has more of an issue with Ian doing what this fucker should be doing. Speaking out, using his large established audience to speak out for people who don't have a voice. He has more of a problem with Ian doing what he should be doing than with the person who is stoking the harassment in the first place. That's what my issue is. That is what my problem is. Creator Clash 3 being canceled demands a video from Ludwig. But when it comes to the people who have been consistently harassed, right? Maybe Ludwig's not aware. Maybe Ludwig's not aware of the death threats that I get. The fact that me and everybody else involved in this have been doxxed. And I'm not even the main target here. The women in this situation get like 4, 5, 6 times that. Maybe Ludwig doesn't know. Maybe Ludwig is unaware. Right? Or maybe he does know, he doesn't care. Maybe that's what it is. Right? And if he is aware and he doesn't care, I can't support someone like that. That's the fire department. Because they know I'm cooking. Right? And I'm saying this because it's disappointing. Right? It's disappointing. Because I like Ludwig. I watch Ludwig. Right? Like, again, I'll prove. I have a little thing here. It has this little catchphrase on it, chat. It says, Mogul Boxing Club. I've bought merch from 2 people and it's been Hassan and Ludwig. That's it. Where's your life-size Ludwig pillow? It's in the wash. Right? But that's why it's so disappointing. That's why it's so disappointing. Because, like, as the chatter is saying, he thinks Ian is engaged in some petty internet beef or something. The topics that Ethan is harassing small creators on are nowhere near petty. But even if you think that it is petty, like, you would understand that it's insane for a creator with multiple millions of followers, right? A creator with like 30,000 concurrent viewers on their podcast to spend all of their time yelling about people with like a few hundred to a few thousand. Right? If anybody else was doing this, right? If anybody else was doing it, Mogul Mail video. You know? If anybody else was doing it, Charlie would be on his black t-shirt on. Hey guys. Talking about how it's so insane that a creator of this size would be weaponizing his following in that way. Because it is insane. It's crazy. And this is a crazy way to cover this story. It just is. Like, because what he's saying, oh, Ian should have made the content cop, you know, after Creative Clash was over. Which is essentially him saying that the defense of the people, right? Ian's friends, essentially, could have been took a secondary or a back seat to like the business decision, and not on the fact that the people who were trying to torpedo the event from the jump. No beef for them, none at all. No words for the people who've organized collectively around tarnishing and diminishing the event at all, none. Ian should have done what Ludwig's doing now. Ian should have ignored smaller creators being harassed by somebody thousands of times their size. Because what about the fighters? And it just shows that, like, for whatever reason, we are not a blip on Ludwig's radar. Ludwig doesn't care about us. Doesn't care about the death threats we're receiving from the harassment stoked by Ethan Klein, who, again, I must add, is thousands of times larger than all of us combined. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I do think iDubbbz posting the content cop was one of the dumbest moves ever. Straight up. That was crazy. I think it was not considerate of how many other people would be dragged into the situation who don't give a fuck and just want to fight. You know, make that video when Creator Clash isn't happening, I would say. That makes no sense to me. It did not help the event.
It's so fucking gross. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. Right? Because again, maybe Ludwig didn't see it, but you know who did see it? I saw it. I saw the harassment that Frogan was getting. Right? Maybe Ludwig's curated Twitter feed didn't see, right, all the disgusting memes that were posted. by not just Ethan Klein's community, but Destiny's community, Asmongold's community, Tectone's community, all the slop tubers communities. Maybe he didn't see that, but you know who saw that? I saw that. You know who saw that? Fucking Ian saw that. That's why the video was made, Ludwig. Ian saw that. And he thought that was unacceptable. Maybe you think it's fine. Maybe you think it's okay. And that's cool, right? You should say that, right? So I know not to support you. Right? If you think that that harassment is cool and chill, let me know. Right? I can send that shit back to Goodwill right now. I can take that shit to Goodwill right now. Let me know. Right? But Ian is the only person, right, with a large audience that, you know, saw the shit that Ethan is doing as unacceptable and called it out the way it should have been. And what I'm so confused about is Ludwig is literally getting shit on right now from those same fuckers. How does he not understand this? How does he not understand? How does he not understand that this mindset that he has, that to just let this shit slide, is what gets him shit on when he messes up eventually? The slop tubers will eventually come after you too. He's getting that shit now. And you would think that maybe he would understand that, like, those people are like piranhas. They sense the littlest amount of blood in the water and they go feral. And that if you don't call that shit in this space that we all occupy, eventually when you start to bleed a little bit too, they're gonna come after you. So even if you don't care about Frogan or Denims or myself, right, or Casey Tron, Taylor Lorenz, Anissa, Ian, or all of the people that Ethan Klein is harassing, you have to at least have a little bit of self-preservation, the smallest amount of self-preservation, to understand that when you allow shit like that to fester in this space, when you allow the drama farmers to continue to harass people smaller than you, eventually it's going to come to you as well. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing.
Whatsoever. It hurt the event. No one went to bat but Hassan for him. But like also, Hassan's audience isn't watching fucking boxing events. What is that? That's not, I don't know. At some point, you have to realize you're operating a business, and I mean, you have to make the call. Like, what's more important, is the business or you know, making the videos you want to make, which is like your own call to make.
I'm sorry, you can't say this when you completely. The only time Ludwig has ever talked about Creator Clash is to talk about how much it's failing, right? Does he not understand that he was a part of the event failing as well? Him and everybody else in the space that ignored people literally shooting at the event with guns and stuff are surprised when the event dies and bleeds out. They're like, oh no, the event's bleeding out. Why didn't the event wear a bulletproof vest? Instead of being like, let's stop shooting the event. Let's not do that, actually. I would appreciate that not being the case. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, at no point did Ludwig ever address any part of Creator Clash 2 or 3, right, that caused for it to get to this point in the first place. The only thing he has to say about why it failed was just, oh, it was the content cop, actually. That's what did it. And not the fact that Nazis were trying to torpedo the event last year, right? And then the drama slop tubers, along with the Nazis, along with Ethan Klein, successfully torpedoed the event this year. He didn't address that at all, right? Because Ludwig doesn't care about the event. No matter how much he claims to care about boxing, or I just wanted to see some boxing. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you did not. You did not want to see any boxing. Because if you actually did want to see the boxing and you did want to see the event, you would have talked about the people who were trying to get the event to fail for the last 6 months, at least. But it's so easy. It's so easy to sit on a high horse and being like, you know, if only Ian operated in the way that I would have operated as an event organizer, which don't even get me started on that, right? The event would have been super successful and nobody would have been mad at him. Well, that's just not the case. It's not the case.
But anyway, I'm kind of sad about it. I won't lie. I'm kind of sad about it.
Like, no, he's not. If he wanted the event to actually happen, you know what he could have done? Talked about the people who were trying to get it to end. He could have supported the event. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it, right? Like, I will apologize. I'm so sorry, Ludwig, if I missed it, chat. If you can find me, Ludwig talking about the event positively instead of just in this drama shit-stirring avenue, right? I'll apologize for it. But all I've seen from Ludwig is him being like, oh, this event is surrounded by controversy, which I won't even talk about what the controversy is, by the way. And that's it. That's all. And to be part of the event, we know what's wrong. So I should try to say you should only care about the harassment when it's happening with people you like.
Mainly because I know a lot of the people that were fighting in the event, and I was looking forward to seeing them fight. You know, like I was looking forward to the Minecraft bout, the Sapnap in Tubbo. I wanted to see Myth fight again.
Like, if that was the case, why would you not talk about the people who were trying to get the event to fail? It doesn't make sense to me. Even before the content cop. It doesn't make sense. If he genuinely cared, why would he not talk about the people who were trying to get the event to fail? Like, he could have promoted the event while it was on. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't. Right? I think this is purely about how it makes Ludwig look. You know? He knows that it will look good if he calls out Ian for making the content cop. Right? He wants the drama sloppers to be like, oh yeah, even Ludwig calling out Ian. That's it.
really wanted to see Odd Ones Out versus Will Neff. I thought that was going to be a crazy fight. Trevor's a friend of mine. We play basketball every Sunday. I know how hard he's been training. I mean, that's another thing too. The trainers or the fighters have been training so hard. So it's kind of sad that they won't get to, you know, see the what's the phrase? The fruits of their soil, the fruits of their labor. Yeah, I think that's sad. You know, like for example, Peach Jar has literally announced last week, surprise, see you soon. And she announced that she's going to be in Creator Clash 3.
What a loser. She's never getting signed.
And then behind good business practice to excuse cowardice. When it is good business practice to let outsiders wreck a community event out of spite. How?
Tweeted today, man, LOL, I spent $3,000 on an announcement video and paid for 2 months of equipment and travel. The cancellation was supposed to be announced the next day. I posted that and they moved it back. The event wasn't even selling tickets, which is a bummer. Time to recruit them for chess boxing. Okay, low key, I tried to make that move. I had very briefly an opportunity to pitch chess boxing 2, and I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity. I could probably just, you know, take all the cards. Creator Clash would have zero involvement. I would do my own event, and then just whoever would want from the Creator Clash 3 to, you know, try chess boxing 2. So that, you know, at least the efforts that they put into training wouldn't be in vain. They could still get paid out, yada, yada, yada. But unfortunately, the deal that would pay for that fell through. And I am not in the business of running events that lose hundreds of thousands of dollars anymore. So I didn't like force it through. Coward? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I did that enough in my 20s. When you're in your 30s, man, you kind of realize that, you know, when you take these risks, you're not just risking your own financial situation, you're risking your loved
today on the
ones.
street,
You know,
the organizer seemingly mishandled the event after Ian and Anissa left.
my mom, my grandpa. It's like stuff like you got to consider this. So yeah, just you know, y'all young folk, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, bro. You're gonna get it. Your grandpa's alive. Don't do that, right? Please. Yes, he is. Let's not talk like that. The GM event went great.
Bro, you are closer to being 40 than being 20.
This is all like,
Hey Ludwig the help out an old happy.
It's a harp. I will say, I watched this video from Dad. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a heartbreaker. This video was so sad. This video was so sad. It made me feel so bad.
like he cares more about the fighters than like the, you know, dozens of people who were being harassed by, you know, not even just Ethan stands, by the way, but like everybody involved. And it's just like, honestly, I think that perfectly illustrates Ludwig's position. You feel me? I genuinely think that like, maybe if like all the small creators, if they were clouded enough, maybe he would then care. Right? That's the mogul move, chat. That's the mogul move. You know, maybe if Frogan had, you know, like 2 or 20,000 average viewers, then like maybe he'd talk about Ethan Klein harassing her. Probably not, but you know, maybe. Ludwig figures that now it's worth talking about Creator Clash, now that it's dead. But he didn't lift a single pasty finger to tell his audience to buy tickets or at least donate. He wouldn't even touch the slot for shit and just say support the event that my friends and colleagues are in. Simple. No, because that's he doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's the answer. That's the answer. He doesn't care. You should talk Rogan again. No, it's like he doesn't address. I don't know what his reasoning is for not addressing the harassment angle of it. Whether it's like not wanting the Ethan Kleinsman to come after him again, or whether he thinks that like because he doesn't like Frogan's not worth defending, right? Or whatever, or if he thinks it's against his like brand friendly behavior to like not defend the small creators being harassed. Not even just creators, but like the journalists or like the number of different women or marginalized people that Ethan Klein has put in his crosshairs. Maybe it's the association with Palestine that it gets a little bit too political for him to get into. I don't know. I don't know what his reasoning is. I do not know what his reasoning is. I have no clue. Right? No idea. But for some reason, he thought he didn't care enough, or he didn't want to address the harassment angle. Anytime he talked about it, going as far as to like defend the harassment angle a little bit here by being like, someone was like, "Oh, this is Ethan Klein's doing." He's like, "Actually, it was Ian's fault," which like, again, act like Ian made the concept cop out of in a vacuum. Oh no, Ian just wanted to fuck over his own event for like no reason, you know? He wanted to like wade in the drama slop for like no reason, and not the fact that like Ethan was crashing out and harassing a bunch of his friends and small creators as a whole. You know? Now Ian just wasn't as good of a businessman as Mogul Moves himself here is, you know?
training because the event's canceled now and it's just over and there's just no more money. And it's really messing me up and it's really hard for me to be okay with this. That's why I'm making this stupid video, because I'm upset. It sucks. I put my heart into this. I got freaking beat hard this year, harder than I ever had. And I thought, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna train like a freaking professional. Keep my head down, avoid this drama, and now here I am, screwed.
At this point, I just started getting too worked up, so I'm now just ending the video. When I filmed this, I just sort of spilled my guts and got kind of worked up. Then I remembered more things I wanted to say, and I tried to compose myself a little bit better, so the video's a bit wild. The last thing
Ian and Issa first. I don't know why this is over. This looked over so much, because they don't care. They don't care, right? It's a lot easier to just it's a lot easier just to point the finger at Ian, being like Ian is bad, so you can like get onto the side of the drama sloppers, whatever, than to actually have a principled take in the first place, you know? Which the only person who did in the situation is Ian. That's it. The only person who did in the situation is Ian. Ian saw, right, smaller creators, including his friends, being harassed by a large creator. Ian had the audience, right? He had the audience side. He had the notoriety. You know, he had the privilege, white man privilege. He stepped in front of the bullet saying, like, Ethan, leave these people alone. If you're going to attack somebody, attack me. And then Ethan was like, actually, I'm going to go back to attacking your event instead. And I will still attack the women surrounding you. And then people were like, oh, it's Ian's fault for putting himself in harm's way to protect the smaller creators, and not Ethan, who was doing the harassing. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And this goes for everybody in this space, by the way. Everybody in the space. Right? I don't know if because the small creators here aren't clouded enough to demand respect, right? The small women creators who are being harassed, right? If they are too political for people. But the truth of the matter is that nobody in the space is standing up to the fact that there's a multi-million follower creator who's using its audience, right? And weaponizing its audience against people who just don't have the means to defend themselves. Nobody. This isn't exclusive to Ludwig, right? But you can literally go down the list of the top streamers, sorted from top to the bottom by how many viewers they have. And besides like Hassan, you know, nobody else wants to address a multi-million follower creator doing this and weaponizing his audience. That's it.
I want to say is that I always tried to be respectful of them, publicly and personally, when I was talking to them. I've always given them the benefit of the doubt and never really wanted to place blame on them or anyone. And then it turns out they were just talking trash about me behind my back. Ian's coach said on H3 that they used to say I was weird and talk trash about me, and then I also heard the same thing from Froggy Fresh 2 years ago. I don't care if people think I'm weird.
Like, you're... Again, I'm not coming at this person. I don't know this person or whatever. But like, I just for a second, just how can you ignore like the H3 angle? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You feel me? Like, Ethan Klein is not an apolitical audience or not an apolitical space, a neutral third party here. Neither is Froggy Fresh. The entire beef about, again, why people were harassing and trying to torpedo Creator Clash, right, was because Froggy Fresh was training with a Nazi, right, a pedophile Nazi. What are we talking about here? Literally bringing up the other creators who've worked so hard to not and not the outside sources who dead is working with 24/7 to make sure that this would even suffer. Yeah, like he literally brought up the two groups of people who were trying to torpedo the event. He's like, I didn't want to talk trash about them, but then I found out that the people who were trying to get the event to fail said they were saying mean things about me. So that actually now it's all their faults. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Weird, because I do make weird videos. I like being different and unique. I'm used to people saying I'm weird. I was just very surprised that it was happening by two other creative people. I thought they were like me, and I didn't expect them to make fun of me for being different. I thought that was the point of Creator Clash, was to gather the unique people and put them in a boxing ring. I guess not. So there you go. That's everything. That's my...
Dude, this video is so sad. The whole...
I just want to... Okay, I do find it interesting that like Lovick has like tears to shed for dad in this video, but again, no words for the women or people of color that Ethan Klein has that don't have this that's an established audience, right? That Ethan Klein was harassing for the last 2 years directly. Again, maybe he doesn't know. Like genuinely, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit. Maybe he doesn't know. But the fact that like this is what he chooses to focus on, as opposed to like, again, what is happening with or what dad is talking about here, I'm not saying it's good. This is a bad thing, and it's happening as a direct result of the harassment campaign. It's happening as a direct result of the harassment campaign, right? That people like Froggy Fresh and Ethan Klein have stirred up.
Video is sad. I mean, it gives the context of, you know, why he boxes. And it's also like more interesting, obviously, to hear from the perspective of someone who like does this and it's much more important because of like the importance of the financial aspects. You know, not to say that the hard work of someone who's got a lot of money isn't as valuable, but the risk is much smaller, right? The inherent risk of giving away time from your job when you have enough money that you can take that time off, I think makes it sad too, that context. But dude, it is sad. But I think he also said in the video he might do a Misfits fight. He might be on a Misfits card, which could be cool. I feel like all the time lost from work is the worst part of it all. Yeah. I mean, Ginger Pale, you trained, right? You've been training, no? Yeah, I'm ready to punch. Brother, I'm not your ticket. I'm sorry. I am not your ticket. I am not your ticket. I cannot run a chess boxing event. I am sorry. I'm sorry. Oh man. When did you find out it was canceled? I wonder when you found out. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say that, but I have been waiting a bit for them to announce it. I see. I think not. Well, this is not legal advice, so you know, operate how you would like to. I don't think you're beholden to shit anymore, brother. The event is canceled. If they spend the last of the funds pursuing litigation, I mean, I think you have the internet on your side in that universe. But of course, you know, you also don't have to say shit you don't want to say.
It just it's just disappointing. It's disappointing. It makes it look like Ian wanted to sabotage his event for fun. I don't know. It's disappointing. And I think what actually makes it worse is to sit here and be like, oh, this dad part of the video is so sad. It's so, how sad this is or whatever. Well, again, literally ignoring the mass harassment that like anti-Creator Clash people, including Ethan Klein, have been stoking against people who just do not deserve it. Completely ignoring that. The racism, the death threats, the doxing. Is she harassed and attacked dad in the past too? That's not surprising. Like, he doesn't even mention it for a second. Yeah, I don't know. Then saying if they trying to sue the internet would be an uproar like that isn't already happening to small creators. Yeah, but that's it doesn't Ludwig doesn't care. For whatever reason. For whatever reason, Ludwig doesn't care about the fact that Ethan Klein is throwing lawsuits around. That means nothing on Ludwig's radar. Doesn't even demand a second of attention. Again, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why Ethan feels as though this space, right? Casey Tron, Frogan, Denims, right? I don't know why they are not deserving of Ludwig's, respect or defense. I genuinely have no idea. I don't know if he doesn't know. I don't know if he does know, but he doesn't like Frogan, so he doesn't care. I don't know if it's too close to politics, therefore he doesn't want to talk about it. I have no clue, right, what his reasoning is. But like, it is disappointing. It is. Community streamers as content creators do not want to acknowledge that there is bullying problem in the industry. They just hope that those bullies don't target them and say that the victim's fault that they got the bully's attention until they can like farm like drama out of it. Like I saw a creator, I don't even know what the account is. I saw a creator that made 17 pirate software videos in the last 10 days. Like, most content creators won't talk about the exact Quinn something. I don't remember what his name. It was like, you see, made so many, right? But most creators won't talk about something until they realize that, oh, that thing can get me a lot of attention and positive notoriety, and then they get into it. And this thing was happening with Creator Clash is the perfect example. Defending small creators and actually standing by some level of moral principles, right, doesn't benefit you. And I think Ludwig has demonstrated that he doesn't do anything that doesn't benefit him. This is why he only talks about this as he only talks about the content cop as a bad business decision. He talks about it purely about the merits, about like it being a business decision and not something that like you morally ascribe to. Right? Some people do things because they believe it. I don't know if Ludwig doesn't know this. I don't know if he doesn't believe in anything. I genuinely have no idea. Some people do things because they believe in them. It just, I remember when people were yelling at Pokemon for throwing out the idea of copy striking people, where are all those people now? Defending Ethan. Because again, for whatever reason, where I talked about it before, I had like a list of things. Where's it at? Oh yeah, here it is. I made a list. It's either proximity to politics, bias against the targets, they agree with Ethan, or it's apoliticalness / brand safety. And all of these are just cowardice. Right? It's all under the auspice of being cowardly. At his chat, 2/3 is talking about Ethan. Yeah, and he mentions Ethan, but he only mentions Ethan to be like, someone's like, it's actually Ethan's fault. He's like, actually, no, it was Idubbbz's fault for responding to Ethan, actually. That's what the issue is.
One creator who don't give a fuck. Other people would be drunk. It was the dumbest moves ever. Straight up. That was crazy. Okay. If they had gone through with it, I think it would have done so bad. Ethan Klein did it. Okay. I'm not trying to be controversial here.
You make a video about this topic, like people voting, sitting up for other creators. Yeah, like this section is going to be a video itself. If you guys make it like a long form video, maybe I'll consider it. So I talk about it enough where I have enough content for it. Right? But like,
so bad.
Not trying to be controversial. He's a Jewish man. What do you mean? I'm getting annoyed by his AAVE. I have no idea what you're saying, Chatter. I think Chatter is mocking Ludwig. And Chatter is being sarcastic. I don't understand.
A vegetative state. So it is, I think, ultimately the right call that they canceled it. Because if they had gone through with it, I think it would have done so bad. Ethan Klein did it. Okay. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I do think Idubbbz posting the content.
Okay. You're just saying, okay, I see now. I see. You're making fun of his, like, I'm not trying to be controversial here take. Okay. That makes sense.
If they had gone through with it, I think it would have done so bad. Ethan Klein did it. Okay. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I do think Idubbbz posting the content cop was one of the dumbest moves ever. Straight up. That was crazy.
Like, that's the part that's so bad to me. Like, legitimately. That is the part that's so bad to me. It's so bad. Right? Because for some reason, Ludwig cannot fathom somebody to their own detriment supporting marginalized people for whatever. I don't know why. I do not know why. But for some reason, Ludwig cannot fathom Ian believing that it's bad that Ethan Klein is harassing his friends and smaller creators and calling him out on it. That is so outside of his realm of imagination, right? Maybe it's because he's old now and he has virtually no imagination at the age of 30, right? He doesn't have the active kid imagination, but it's so outside of his imagination that like somebody can believe things and do things because they genuinely believe it. That he's like, why would Ian make such a bad business decision? That wasn't a mogul move, bro. That was such not a mogul move. That move was so unmogul. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. They just said that the sales were bad before the content got, by the way. Yeah, because it wasn't like just Ethan trying to torpedo the event. Ethan just hopped on the train. There were Nazis since Creator Clash 2 who were trying to torpedo the event. Like, Ethan talked about Ian and Issa like 2 months before the content cop came out in the first place, right? But after Creator Clash 2, during Creator Clash 2, there were Nazis who were torpedoing the event. They were trying to get the event to fail. And instead of talking about literally any of that, he's like, yeah, the issue is the content cop. The issue is the content cop. Because again, it doesn't even compute in Ludwig's mind that Ian made the video to protect and support smaller creators. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. Cause I'm just like, if you're not even going to address what caused the event to fail, right? And this is my problem, is that he doesn't even say, right? He doesn't even say the creator clash, or the creator clash, the content cop is why the event failed. If he had that take, if he made that take, right? I would obviously disagree with it, but at least he would be standing by something, right? At least then he would be standing by something. But he doesn't even say that. He just said the event failed, as if like a natural disaster came in and swept out the event. Right? He just says the event failed and Ian made a bad decision making the content cop, but not talking about why the event failed. To be fair, he's staying by his title. What's up, Jason? I agree, this is weird of Lud. I saw your tweet. Like, the title just says Creator Clash 3 is over, not why Creator Clash 3 ended. Like, it doesn't make sense. 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 It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Which is weird because he used to give a take on why he thinks something failed. Yeah, he didn't even do that. He didn't even do that. He didn't even say, this is why I think it failed. He just said, the content cop was not a good decision. He should have waited until after Creator Clash to make the content cop. Implying that the content cop is why it failed, but he won't even stand by that. Because he would then be expected to defend that. He would then be expected to defend, right, or justify his take that the content cop caused the Creator Clash to fail. Which he can't do because there's no evidence for that, specifically. I really appreciate your unfiltered rage and confrontation regarding these topics and these creators, because because man, ain't no one calling out these creators on the apolitical takes for clearly political collaterals. Good creators can do bad things. Why doesn't the word acknowledge this simple fact and have some awareness to correct it? I think guys really appreciate you, man. Never change. Well, the reason why nobody else does it is because like you're not the most liked in the creator space, I'll say. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like me calling out people for their bad takes helps my streaming career. Like, let's be real. You know? But like similar to Ian, like when I see injustice, I'm gonna call it out. When I see things that are impacting smaller creators, marginalized people, right? I'm gonna call it out. If it means I never get invited to an event again, so be it. You know, that I gotta hold that. You know what I mean? Which is why, to a certain extent, I envy Hassan. Right? To be fair, Hassan still plays this game as well. You know, like there are. Hassan tends to tailor what he talks about. Right? But like Hassan being able to still be embedded in the streaming landscape while talking about things that he believes in, I respect that. It's almost like there's a thin purple line, like the thin blue line for Twitch. Has anyone thought of that before? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why people think his audience just wants to cancel him. Hassan's audience, I do want to cancel him. I'm on that side. Let's cancel Hassan. Because Hassan gets canceled, then all of his fans come to me. Hassan's only able to do that because of his size as a creator. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ludwig criticizing iDubbbz. Well, his issues himself, Shake It Surroundings first. The mango shit was a couple weeks ago, which he was so passive about. Because I didn't even get into that, but like, yeah, just because I don't think it's productive, you know. But I mean, yeah, you could get into, you know, saying that like, yeah, maybe the Creator Clash wasn't a good business move, but like, we're not gonna sit here and act like Ludwig is the best event planner or organizer either. Like, Ludwig's actually like that white guy, you know, who's being annoying.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist. Okay, I live when I believe.
So I'm gonna be on the Wine About It
Randomly
reboot
dubbed
now.
just subscribed. Sean will never be on
Yeah.
the Wine About It reboot now.
That door is closed. Why is the song catching strays? Because I think it's funny. Nah, Hassan, no, he's cool. We're cool. What can I be talking after we invited Mango to Birrio Kart? Oh, I like that. Tall trees catch more wind. I like that. Chat, I'm stealing that. That's mine now. I'm stealing that. That's mine now. I'll talk about apparently the new Superman film is anti-Israel. Supposedly there's a fictional country. It's undoubtedly Palestine. So maybe I'll buy a ticket. I don't think it's actually anti. I saw the review. I don't think it's actually anti-Israel. I'm curious though. Hassan needs to have Sean on a stream again to avoid cancellation. True. But yeah. That's my take on the Ludwig stuff. I don't. Sometimes these are on a streamers. He does Twitch politics well enough to maintain an uncle of Zhank and a friend of Ludwig while throwing shade at industries and bringing the topics back to the issues. I think Hassan does well, right? I do think that in certain instances he will tailor his rhetoric to abide by that goal. You know, like I don't think Hassan talked about the Birrio Kart stuff. Thank you for the raid. We're talking about Ludwig. Well, not technically Hassan, but like also Ludwig. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't been watching that much Hassan recently. But yeah, I don't think Hassan talked about the Birrio Kart stuff. He's not talked about it, yeah. And so I think it should be talked about. And I think to a certain extent that he will kind of tailor what he does and does not talk about for that goal of like not like stoking like drama and like being in the streaming landscape to like make politics more approachable to like the FaZe boys or whatever, right? But in an effort to do so, I think that he'll, you know, not talk about things that I think are important, which is why I'll talk about these things, even if it's to like a smaller audience. You also may not have seen it, but I agree with your point. I disagree with that. I don't think Hassan didn't see it. I don't think drama that covers love in a negative light will be covered by Hassan. They kind of bat for each other. No, well, it's not drama. It's sexual assault. 100% saw it, but what more would you even have to add there? That it's bad? Like, what are we talking about here, chatters? Like, I like Hassan, but like, calling out sexual assault that's happening in the streaming landscape is kind of important. Like, I think that is an important thing that we should be doing, which is why I covered it. Yeah, I think there's a balance, right? But I think that Hassan choosing what to cover and what not to cover, like is how he's so large as a streamer in the first place. And how he's like getting invited to like the phase events and getting invited to like other events in the streaming landscape. He wouldn't be as large as he is by not like you know, choosing what to and not to speak about, you know? But I do think like that is an important thing to cover. Not going as far as like to go into like the Abba and Preach, you know, tech tone angle, being like Ludwig is a bad friend to Mango or whatever, because like he invited Mango with a drinking problem to this event and he failed Mango or whatever. I think that's a bit silly. You know? But like saying, hey, this happened, this is bad, we should be better as a space, I think is important. Personally. Oh, bro, only you and Caroline Kwan cover DDG's abuse. It still boggles my mind, but everyone and their grandmas are talking about Pirate Software being kind of an asshole. Yeah. And because and again, even before that, 6 months ago, or as Jason said, a year ago, me and Jason have been on this Pirate Software train for like over a year. Jason before me. Right? And like, it wasn't taken seriously until Charlie, Moist Critical, made a video about it. And then everybody else jumped on the train. Who's Jason? Jason is this Jason. The promised land came. Yeah. But that's and like nobody covered that until now. Charlie covered it, and now people are like farming Pirate Software clips. Didn't Pirate a situation blow up when he roached, at least in my circles? Well, yes, but that was after. That was after Pirate Software got called out for Stop Killing Games. That happened a year ago. Like, Stop Killing Games was like the first thing that people were like, that's a bit weird from Pirate Software. There were a few things as well, but like people kind of ignored that because he was like the darling child of Twitch. Right? Where's the niche internet person who finally gets canceled meme? It's probably somewhere, but like, yeah. Is this voice legit? Anyone know? I don't know. I was in a Slate Aspire streamer's chat and he was defending Pirate Software after OnlyFans. I haven't gone back to his streams or YouTube since. I would say one of those things that Hassan does. Wait, one of those things that stops Hassan from very publicly speaking on the drama shit is because he doesn't want to make the victims a target of his haters. I'm not saying it's right, but we have the FBI on speed dial too. But still, like, for the beer cart situation, I think a very simple, like, again, he may have done this. I genuinely don't know, and I don't want to speak to everything Hassan has said. But a simple, yeah, I saw this thing that happened. I think it was unacceptable. We should never accept that this happens in the space. And we need to do better. I think that's important. It's important to fixing the culture that we have here. You know? It's not criticizing situations when his friends aren't involved. He does also talk about things when his friends are involved in certain instances, but oftentimes he does stray away from things of that nature. The culture is that kind of abuse is literally allegation after allegation at this point with damn near every legacy streamer. Yeah. Charlie only reacted because Chris Farley did a video that went viral where he was responding to criticism behind Stop Killing Games and calling out Pirate Software. Can we confront Elwig? What do you mean? I'd love to have a conversation with Ludwig off stream. I don't think he'll do it, right? But I would love to have a conversation with Ludwig off stream. box him on stream? No, I don't think it'll be productive. He convince him off stream. I don't even want to convince him. I want to know what his reasoning is to not talk about the harassment campaign. Like genuinely, I am genuinely curious. Is it that he doesn't know, or is it that he doesn't care? Like that's what I want to know. Is why not discuss the harassment campaign? Especially since if Ethan is successful, it's gonna have a wider impact on all creators. I mean, it was successful to a certain extent, right? Creator Class 3 is canceled. And I hope someone talks to him, but he showed the way he is, and really cannot be taken back. I mean, who would like? The question is, who would talk to Ludwig about this, right? The only person that potentially could maybe would be Hassan, and I don't know if Hassan's gonna do that. You know, like Hassan has a lot of on his plate. Or Cutie, but she wouldn't have to. No, I don't think Cutie would talk a little bit about like this situation either, for being entirely real. Do we know what his deal with Ian is? I think he just views Ian as a bad business person. I think he puts himself in Ian's. This is what I think. I think Ludwig puts himself in Ian's shoes and describes what Ian did that he wouldn't do. Right? He wouldn't have talked about Creator Class because he's like big mogul moves guy, only viewing about like his events and like how can I make my event successful, as opposed to like standing up for your friends. Right? If Ludwig had a small creator friend who's being harassed by Ethan, I think this demonstrates that he just wouldn't talk about it. You know? If somebody that like Ludwig liked, who's a small streamer, was being harassed by Ethan, I don't think he would talk about it. I don't think he would cover it. I think that's what this video shows me. And I think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's sorry, I think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't know which one I said. Right? And maybe that's why I'm not big mogul moves guy. Maybe that's not why I'm not sitting with like 1.6 million subscribers on my second channel. Right? Maybe that's why I am not one of the biggest streamers in the world. Because I couldn't do that. I could not see my friends. Scratch that. I couldn't see small creators being harassed by people with millions of followers and not say something. Right? I couldn't see women online being directly targeted, right, due to misogyny and not saying something. I couldn't do it. And maybe you need to have that mindset of like, I care about me and mine before anybody else in order to be successful. And if that's the case, and this is my ceiling, having that take, then this is my ceiling, you know? If that's the case, that's the case. If this is how far I'm going to go by speaking out on things that I believe to be important, right? It doesn't just stop at this situation, right? I'll talk about platforming abusers in other situations. I talked about the Mango situation because I thought it was important, not like the drama farm it, right? I talked about the situation that happened with the stalker, the IRL stream with Cinna, Ray, and Emaru. Right? I talk about all these things because that's what I feel as important. Right? That's what I feel as I need to do. And I don't have a large audience. Right? My audience size is extremely modest. But it's because I feel that it's important. And it's kind of crazy to see people that I support not doing that. You're making me feel sane for my take as someone who enjoys Lev's content most of the time. I like Lev's content. Talking is cool. Talking is cool about it, but actually saying stop Ethan getting the views. What? It's when he's just doing what mainstream media did after United Healthcare CEO died of natural causes. It's similar. Also, you should hold your friends to a higher standard than random online. But you know, Haas, Ludwig, etc. Would call it a rando for the behavior. I mean, they have. Like, I'm sure that there's been instances where, like, I mean, like, there were people who like supported Ethan Klein who were like still on Ethan Klein's side back in like 2015 against his lawsuit and being sued for like a copyright infringement. You know, the massive amount of hate that we get comes from specific places. So many lines were crossed to get where we are. If we ignore it, then it's deemed permissible. Yeah. What I meant was that when people turn around and actually watch the video, here to stop Ethan getting the views, do you think that's right? What are you talking about, chatter? I'm so confused. And the chatter is drunk? The thing is, when most normies see what Ethan is doing, they are grossed out. So he's not even making a good business move here, to be honest. I mean, but you see, there are elements of his audience that are like pro Ethan. Like this guy's like, don't blame Ethan for stupid shit that Ian did, right? This guy's like an Ethan stan, you know? Like, and so this is what centrist content does, like our fence-sitting does, right? You end up riding the line and making both people mad. And so I think he's kind of doing that. What I mean is that's Denims and the likes of Frogan telling people to watch their video instead of watching Ethan's video when it comes out on stream. You think it's right? That's the whole point of the lawsuit. I don't care, chatter. I don't care. Go cry about that somewhere else, please. We're having a actually more serious discussion than that. I think that switching to YouTube brought us his audience to a lot of people who wouldn't enjoy the person he used to be. I guess this is a matter of what kind of audience you want to keep. For Ludwig, it's a quantity over quality thing. Like, he doesn't seem to care who watches him or what they do. He just likes that they are watching him. I mean, that's true. I guess that's the mogul move. You know? That's the mogul move, chatter. And I guess that's where I differ. Right? But maybe that's why there's a ceiling on how far I'll grow as a creator. Right? Because I don't want like Ethan Klein defenders following me, you know? I don't want genocide defenders following me. I don't want Nazis following me. And I'm not going to tailor my rhetoric in order to like not or to appeal to those people. Right? Problem solved, chat. I've spared you. Love is more is a more normal Mr. Beast. He goes where the views are, with some limitations to be acceptable to as many people as possible. Yeah. See, I just said I don't want Ethan Klein defenders following me. Problem solved. I put the hell out of you for that. Thank you, Chatter. I appreciate that. If that's what it means, if I'm sitting at like, I don't know how many viewers I have right now. You know, 300. To be fair, 384 viewers while Hassan's live is not terrible. But if I'm sitting at 300 viewers for the rest of my content creation days, that's the case, you know. Hassan is live with Noah and Stabby too. To be fair, there was a chatter who came here who was like, I don't want to watch Stabby, so now I'm here, which is kind of funny. I personally believe the audience craves the creator that they morally agree with, and the space just isn't there. It has to be built. Well, there is a space that's there, right? Like Hassan has like 20,000 freaking concurrent viewers. You know what I mean? Like, so there are people who want people with like good politics or like morally, who doesn't like Stabby? I don't know. Somebody in chat said that, which I'm like, I'm not gonna complain.
TEH Great Snake gifted a tier 1 sub to T_Blazer.
The Great Snake, thank you for the gifted sub.
They have given 47 gift subs in the channel.
Much appreciated. But yeah. I don't. I try my best, my very, very best, to be as consistent as possible. So you say Ethan Klein says thinking about you on a story, you know that you're the bad guy. And to be real, I don't even think Ludwig likes Ethan, by the way. I don't think Ludwig likes Ethan. I think Ludwig doesn't like Ethan. I think Ludwig doesn't like Frogan, which is why he's covering it in the way that he's doing now. He's for sure scared of Ethan. Not even. I don't even think he's like scared of Ethan. I think he's scared of talking about something his audience might disagree with him on. You know? Which is why he like rides this line between, I'm sad Creator Clash 3 ended, but like maybe Ian shouldn't have done the content cop. I would have waited if I was him. That was a bad move. But like, man, I wanted to see some fighting going on. Like he literally, he's fence sitting, right? Because he doesn't want to, he wants to make a take that like people who like Ethan can agree with and people who don't like Ethan can agree with, right? Like if you like Creator Clash and don't like Ethan for like ruining it essentially, he wants you to agree with the part of him being like, I want Creator Clash to succeed. Like, okay, I don't agree with that first part, but I agree with the second part. If you like Ethan but hate Creator Clash, he wants you to agree with the first part and disagree with the second part. He wants you to be like, okay, I agree with you that Ian did a stupid thing by making the content cop, but I don't agree with you on wanting Creator Clash to succeed. I still wanted it to fail. Right? And so he's trying to like have a take that's wide enough to appeal to a bunch of different people, right? In order to keep this like centrist normie position. I think either he misjudged that this would create the least backlash, or he's just stupid enough to believe Ethan. No, I think it's the first one, right? Because it's literally that consistent. This is not a unique thing for Ludwig. You know what I mean? He all the time tries to craft this like position that will get him the least backlash, and it ends up making people mad on both sides. It happened with the Mango stuff like literally like a week ago. Literally a week ago. He did the same thing with the Mango situation. He tried to craft an inoffensive position, and it ended up him getting like getting hate from both sides. And it happens all the time. All the time. John was here screaming with you on the Mango shit? Yeah. He's a liberal, mathematically the worst fence sitting possible. True. Didn't he just drop the Cowboy Bebop collab too? Yes, he did. He supposedly doesn't have any morals and always goes centrist. I feel like he's the one who does it the most. Like he makes Moist look moral. I mean, there was like a time where like Charlie talked about there's a time where Charlie talked about like the immigration system being bad. He was like, I have a esports team, and man, the American immigration system is bad. So you at least know that Charlie stands for something. Even if I like disagree or agree with like some of Charlie's takes, like he would at least say, I believe this thing. Like the pirate software stuff. Stop killing games. You can at least count on Charlie to be like, I want to call out pirate software and I want to support stop killing games. You know? And I just can't see like Ludwig doing that. Ludwig will be like, this is what's happening with stop killing games. And he'll just like try to like do like the Philip DeFranco, like, I'm giving you all the facts. Let me know what you think in the description. You know? Like, Phil DeFranco does the exact same thing as well. Instead of like actually believing something. Yo! Deserves TV. Thank you for the raid. What's up, Lance? We're talking about Ludwig. And Ludwig being Ludwig, if we're being real. Keep in mind, folks, the only reason Charlie believes American immigration is bad because he went through the process. It's very American to only care about it once it happens to you. Start watching Philly too. Yeah. He said Denim's called CBS and never retracted. Yeah. It's also covered this. The creator class, Ludwig's creator class response. It's just not good. It's just bad. Oh, the mango stuff. I think it's kind of cool if journalists are impartial and just gather facts, but choosing the facts. But choosing which facts to care about is already a political action. Yeah, which is why you can never do that. Which is why, like, also I'm not expecting like Charlie's not a journalist. In the same way that like Ludwig and even Phil DeFranco is also not a journalist to a certain extent. You know, like they're creators. They have positions and they have takes. Like you can believe things. That's okay. Nobody's gonna tell like, well, okay, people will yell at you for believing things, but it'll make you feel better. I promise. So yeah, pretending you believe nothing makes you look like scum. Yeah, I don't know. I talked about this before, but it is hard, right? It's hard. It's hard to watch like any of the streamers I used to watch. I used to watch a lot of streamers, chat. I used to be on Twitch like freaking like 12 hours a day. I used to be live for like 6 hours and I used to watch streams for like 6 to 8 hours. It's so hard to do that, right? When like you and your friends are subject to a mass harassment campaign and like nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's just like, yo, let's play some video games, y'all. And like you're getting like death threats and doxxed. People are like emailing your freaking family. You know. You're just like, dang, am I not worth it? I'm not worth getting a mention that like, hey, this is bad. This ain't cool. This is not good. And you're like, maybe it's because I'm black. I just watched like you, Denim's, Mike, Hassan, and Fantano. Shout out Fantano. Fantano called out, I think, Destiny like yesterday. That was pretty funny. But yeah, it makes you feel like like lesser a little bit. You know? Like for some reason, if maybe if I was like a middle-aged white dude who was about to start boxing, then like Ludwig would care, you know? Man, Frogan should have been dad here. Then he talk about how sad it is that you don't get to box. But no, getting death threats in a mass harassment campaign, stoked on by somebody with millions of followers across all platforms, concurrently getting 30,000 viewers a stream. Yeah. Who cares, you know? I'm basically the biggest streamer that I watch, to be honest.
T Streets just subscribed. I know a guy who can make that happen.
What do you mean by that? T-Streets, thank you for the 23-month subscription. Much appreciated. If you're an overweight alcoholic serial abuser who was gonna smash level talking about you with empathetic like, true. To be fair, I am overweight, technically. But like, who takes BMI seriously? Don't even John Fogg, so ignore if you don't want to talk about it. But you see Shake Drizzle's replies on your tweet? No, I did not see that. What did Shake say? I can honestly just look. He has some very weird takes. I'll take a look. I'm curious. Who? What do you accomplish by having a lot of thoughts on something, but then refusing to say what they are? Because from the outside looking in, iDubbbz had a generational fumble here. Don't stand on your morals because if you do a fun little event you run, will not be as big as a pretty spineless take. Right, so standing up for your morals means making a YouTube drama video, the follow-up famous iDubbbz Say the N-Word series. Man, come on, surely standing up for your personal values after a close friend has been a malicious force is more important than capital. I don't know who you're talking about. This post is about Creator Clash. But you cannot come at him this hard over this and then act coy about the entire reason Creator Clash was brought down in the first place when Ludwig literally discussed it in the clip. True. Coming at him this hard, I'm asking to verbalize what he's so upset about because I don't have the context of years of podcast beef. Also, I just hate vague tweeting in general. Maybe that's because I'm pushing 30. True. Honestly, to be fair, I didn't expect it to get so many views. So, and I also say, you can chill and shake a little bit. You feel me? Because I think I think it's fair. Right? I think that's fair, which is why I went live, right? I knew that I couldn't say all that I wanted to say during or in this tweet. And so after I posted this tweet, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go live and talk about what my thought process is. Because I think that it is important. And so it will be a video. And so Shake's going to get a reply with a YouTube link within like a day or two. Probably within by tomorrow morning. Also, as a known Ludwig watcher, it was your responsibility. As soon as I saw the Ludwig clip, I thought you were going to talk about it tomorrow, not go live today. Well, I wanted to spend some time editing this video. So I'll be doing that so I can post it tomorrow. Right? But I think, you know what? I'm actually glad that this is seen. Right? Because I've had a number of takes on like Ludwig being disappointing in this regard.
I
right? So maybe Ludwig will actually see my take if his editor and friend, right, has this position. Again, I will be totally down to talk to Ludwig about this. I would. Chicky talking like Ludwig wouldn't fire his FMV increasing his profit margins. Also between the beer cart tourney and was basically glorified fat party for charity. How his use of the AAVE felt like essentially making fun of the younger generation's usage of it. And the whole when you're 30 part mentioned here, just name a few examples. It feels like he's going through a midlife crisis or something. It's like self-conscious for his career. And with Ian being the closest to his age and situation, he's sort of projecting that frame of mind onto here. Nah, I think that's not true. I think that's a bit too deep. This is like normal Ludwig. This is like normal, consistent Ludwig. If we're being real. If we're being real, you know? Ludwig finding out fencing doesn't work in 2025? He's not gonna learn. Let's be real. About 10:30, to be honest, I only have less pages for right-wing rhetoric, not more. Hey, maybe when we hit 30, it'll be different. It'll be different. Shicky's trying to up his stock in Elwig's eyes so not to be the first let go when Ludwig decides to shrink his team. So they can the next event can be even less organized. Jeez, y'all are not holding the cards. I will also say my original tweet says I have a lot of thoughts on this being a Ludwig watcher, but for now I'll stick to just expressing how disappointed this is. This implies that I'm going to talk about it again in the future. I thought that's what the implication was. Jackie's being way too hostile for no reason. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the point is that like I could have said more, right? But I'm going to collect my thoughts so I can succinctly talk about it pretty consistently or pretty, fully. In a follow-up tweet. Think about it, the only difference between Ludwig now and a few years ago is probably that he's just being more out of touch because he's been rich for multiple years at this point. No, I also don't think that's true either. I think he thinks he's equally out of touch. Right? Again, my criticism of Ludwig is not just critique of Ludwig. Right? Like, I'm disappointed, not because like Ludwig is doing this specifically, but it's because I watch Ludwig and he's doing this. Streamers have been doing this all the time. Right? Ignoring mass harassment campaigns to like, boost their own viewership or whatever, to not get into like drama. Right? Again, because I as I said, like consistently throughout this entire thing, maybe Ludwig just doesn't know. Maybe he's unaware of the mass harassment campaign that Ethan Klein has been perpetuating. Right? Maybe if I show Ludwig some of the DMs that I get, some of my Twitter replies, and the massive amount of hate, that'll change his mind. Because genuinely, maybe he does. If Ludwig wants to have a conversation where I can demonstrate to him the links of the harassment campaign, I'm totally open to having that conversation. Right? But you have to acknowledge that, like, not talking about that aspect of it and only talking about like Ian defending the smaller creators here as being the problem, right, is the issue. I'll say it again, despite everything, knowing, not caring, doesn't matter. Despite everything, when Ethan was threatening to add me to the lawsuit, Ian reached out to me, making sure that I was good, right? Taylor reached out to me, making sure that I was good. So I think it's weird to not talk about that shit when it was happening, when it was going on, to then chastise the people who actually do care about smaller creators. That's what I think is weird. And that's what I'm saying as a Ludwig watcher. I was watching Ludwig like freaking, like while he was on YouTube, you know what I mean? Like, I'm old guard, if you will. And I don't dislike Ludwig. I like Ludwig. I think Ludwig is an entertaining person. I enjoy putting on a Ludwig stream and just watching it. Right? But it feels weird to come for one of the few people who reached out, you know, to me when I'm being harassed by a creator that, again, is thousands of times my size, when you're not talking about that. It's like yelling at the EMTs who are doing CPR. You know? When you're a bystander, didn't even try to call 911, didn't even try to help out, didn't pull me from the river. And you're yelling at the EMTs and not at the person who threw me into the river in the first place. And that's why it's weird. That's why it's weird. I don't know. And it's also equally as weird to like do this, like, right, so standing up for your morals, you mean saying or making a YouTube drama video, the follow-up to the famous Say N-Word series? Like, this is, like, I don't know if Shake's black, right? I don't know Shake Drizzle's background, but it's almost like he didn't watch the video. It's almost like he doesn't care about, like, iDubbbz used to saying the N-word or whatever. He's not. Again, I don't know. Maybe he is. But it feels like it's a weird thing to weaponize, right? When, like, so did Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein was saying the N-word. Like, I don't know, was it 4 years ago? I don't remember. He was also saying the N-word. And he didn't even apologize for it. At least iDubbbz apologized for it. Like, if you watch the Content Cop, which again, I don't know if Shake Drizzle watched the Content Cop. If you watch the Content Cop, right, that is addressed in the Content Cop. The Content Cop was a subversion directly. You got here's apology. It doesn't make raise a convo, but couldn't iDubbbz have chosen a better time to raise a Content Cop so it ultimately didn't bring harassment to the fighters, negatively impact the event? What do you think the Content Cop is for, chatter? Like, in your own words, I want you to describe why you think Ian made the Content Cop. No help from chat. So chat, keep your mouth shut. Because this is kind of the implication that Ludwig is making in this video. That it was just vibes. Like, oh, Ian just wanted to farm clout. And so that's why he made the Content Cop or whatever. But I'm curious. Because of the implication. to call out Ethan's Zionism and harassment campaign. Okay, so if you understand that this is the call out, it's mostly the harassment campaign. To call out the harassment campaign against smaller creators, marginalized creators, and friends of Ian, right? Why he wouldn't have waited 6 to 8 months down the road to then call that out? Would you have that expectation of Hassan? I'm curious. That was only a few months later. We're semantics. Waiting months. So you think your take is that Ian should have let Frogan, Denims, right, be harassed by somebody with millions of followers to protect his event? That's what your take is? To let the harassment continue that you know is bad and wrong? People are still getting harassed heavily to the lawsuits, aren't they? So you think he should say nothing, Shatter? Fuck him? Just don't talk about it at all? Yeah, fuck him. Fuck him. Just don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. Just let Ethan Klein do the harassing. Sure. Sure, let Ethan Klein weaponize his, again, multi-million follower audience against small creators. Never call that out. I think the timing caused more harm than good. So you're saying to let them get harassed. That's what I'm asking. You're like, oh, what about the fighters? What about the fighters? You are totally fine with marginalized, smaller creators being harassed to protect the fighters at the Creator Clash. You are. You're fine with it. Fuck them. Fuck the death threats. Right? Fuck the doxing. Fuck the creators. Fuck them. Let them be harassed. Talk about it when it's convenient. For you. When it makes you feel good. It's insane. Right? So maybe you don't understand it because, again, you weren't getting the death threats. Right? You weren't getting doxed, Chatter. Right? I got a fraction of what Frogan got. Think they get stuck to fame a lot? Then fuck him. Just don't say anything. That's what you're saying. You're saying don't say anything. When do you think it was acceptable for Ian to speak out? Tell me. When do you think it was acceptable for Ian to speak out? That wouldn't have stoked the flame. That wouldn't have made Ethan mad. When? How many months of harassment should these marginalized creators endure with no assistance or help from anybody else to make you happy? No, don't run away now. Don't run away now because you can't answer the fucking question. How many months? Tell me, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? How much more time should they be doxxed? How many more death threats would it have taken for you to think it's acceptable for a large creator to speak out on their behalf. This is the problem. This is the issue. Nobody wants to speak out on behalf of these smaller creators. Again, I don't know why. Like, it would have helped while he, if he waited while the event took place. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Helped who? Helped who? Explain. Helped who? Who do you think it would have helped? You think it would have helped Frogan? That the death threats were still coming? That Frogan was still being highlighted? Do I have to pull up how many times Ethan talked about Frogan before Ian and Nisa even got involved? Think it was helpful to Denims? Do I have to pull up how many times Denims was talked about by Ethan before Ian and Nisa got involved? Like, just let's be real. You are fine. You are okay. You are okay. You are okay with the harassment going on to all of these smaller creators. You're okay with that for whatever reason. I am not okay with it. I'm not. Ian is the only person besides like Hassan, to his own detriment, who talked about what is happening to these smaller creators. Do you think that that's bad? Chatter. Do you think that what's happening to Denims, to Frogan, to myself, to Casey Tron, right? To Do Not Worry Podcast, and the list goes on, to Taylor Renz, to Cat 10 Barge, to Xavier, that TikTok creator. Do you think that all of the victims of Ethan Klein's harassment campaign is bad? And if you think that that's bad, do you think that it's absolutely insane that the entirety of the streaming landscape lets it happen? Because Ian is the only large creator who called that out for what it is. The only one. Everybody else is only doing this. All they care about is how bad this is to the fighters. All they care about is how sad this is to the fighters. They don't care. For whatever reason, the women and people of color here don't register in the minds of people like Ludwig. I don't know why. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see. For some reason, me getting freaking doxxed and harassed by a creator with, like, again, thousands of times my following is totally chill to Ludwig. Right? And to a certain extent, I get it. I talk about politics. I put myself in the mud. But like Frogan does not deserve it. And these creators let this harassment happen because they don't want it to interfere with their brand. I was wondering if leading to canceling Creator Clash brought even more harassment because it pissed Ethan off more, especially it impacted one of his staff. If I'm wrong, then I'm willing to own that. No, Ethan was going to do this regardless. Don't get into the mindset that Ethan would not have done this regardless. Ethan would have done this regardless. He would have. He would have kept escalating in a different avenue regardless. Which is why, even though Creator Clash is canceled, he spent all of yesterday crying about Taylor Lorenz. He was harassing these women before Content Cop dropped, and he's harassing them after Creator Clash was canceled. If that's all he cared about, he would have stopped. But no, he's not. You're not even considering the previous Creator Clash harassment from a certain Nazi? Yeah. what Ludwig says here about like, oh, it was stupid of Ian to drop the content cop while he has an event going on because, oh, of course it was only going to bring drama to the event or whatever. Right? Is the exact sort of mindset that I am criticizing. The exact sort of mindset that I'm criticizing. Right? That's what I was saying earlier. If me having this take puts a ceiling on my streaming career, then so be it. But that's what it means to believe in something. That is what it means to believe in something. Right? I could probably benefit not talking talking shit on DDG or whatever and calling out the space propping up DDG. You know? I could probably benefit from not getting into like what Asmongold does and how that harms the streaming landscape. I could probably benefit by not talking about Ludwig's AAVE and what that means for the wider ecosystem. Right? I could probably benefit not talking about Burial Cart and what that means for the wider ecosystem. If I put my head down, you know, did some gaming content, didn't step on any toes, that probably would benefit me. It would. It probably would benefit me. But I can't do that because that's what it means to believe in something. That's what it means to stand behind something, to have moral convictions. I think Ethan Klein targeting women almost exclusively is misogynistic, which is why I call it out. I think Ethan Klein weaponizing his audience against smaller creators is unacceptable, which is why I call it out. And I'm criticizing people who would rather put their own personal content ambitions, right, in fence sitting over talking about things that is that they know is correct. It's kind of actually what I talk about here in this video about why silence from creators is dangerous. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely do not know why Ludwig doesn't address the harassment campaign. His chat talks about it, right, in the stream. Where's it at? Also, I don't know if y'all peeped the one chatter who called Hassan Hamas, but you know, that's another thing. I remember where it was. Anyway, but the chat understands it. I did not. Oh. XD Hamas fans mad AF. Like personally, like I wouldn't want this person in my stream. Right? But even this person, like, brother, he was defending his girl from harassment at Ludwig, you know? Like it's not that he's unaware that the harassment is happening. Right? But I genuinely do not know why he doesn't speak about it. I don't know if he doesn't want to step on like Ethan's toes and put the crosshair back on him and Cutie again, because that did happen. I don't know if it's because he doesn't like Frogan and doesn't want to defend Frogan and feels as though like he would be defending Frogan by calling out Ethan. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if he wants to like, if he's just fence riding just for the lulz. And hoping that like if he rides this line, he can appease both audiences. But like not calling out the harassment, but just talking about liking the bot. I don't know why. I don't know why, right? But as from the perspective of somebody who does watch and enjoy a lot of Lowood's content, it is disappointing to see. And that was my point. Is that it is disappointing to see. Here, this is what Aneesa had to say. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and clear something up. Ian won't be happy I'm doing this, but I need to be we need more transparency. Ticket sales were already visible before the Content Cop. Promotion wasn't going how we hoped. Charity wasn't gonna get the numbers we wanted. Yeah, that's what chatters were saying. We were promised a lot of things. A lot of things didn't happen. I take responsibility for trying to do it again. We shouldn't have, but I think we made the best out of the situation. Charity got 225,000, and a lot of that was due to the buzz around Hassan supporting the charity. Charity got money, fighters got paid, things didn't work out. The Content Cop wasn't some turning point. The interest in Creative Class 3 was low. To clarify, I'm saying Ian won't be happy. Take this, clear that this decision was, making this was my own and not his. Take responsibility for this statement. Sorry for the poor wording. Ludwig adding fuel to the fire is helping nobody, but he doesn't care because like Ludwig, that's kind of the question, which is why I said last time we talked about this, is that like what could Ludwig have to have gained from even covering this if he's not going to talk about the fact that about the harassment? He didn't add much. The only thing that he added that was his own take or his own opinion was saying that it was dumb for Ian to make the Content Cop. That's it. That's literally the only thing he added. That's the only thing unique that he added of his own perspective in this video. You just wanted to clip the post. You know, get the clip out early. Creative Class 3 in the title. People are gonna be like, oh, I want to see what's happening with that. That's it. A different note, isn't Ludwig still working with Power Software? No, Power Software quit.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Track Moonchild, thank you for the 500 bits. But here. There's a little bit more updates. Jake said, I don't know who you're talking about. It's supposed about Creator Clash. He's talking about how in the Content Cop, which Lud says is a dumb move, Ian discussed how his friend Ethan has become a cruel person, how his communities were getting smaller creators, and OP thinks that posting the video and speaking up is more important than running a business. Thanks, wording wasn't clear, so I thought they were talking about Ludwig's personal relationship with someone. I know people that are out thousands in months of training because Creator Clash 3 got canceled. It's not fair that they because iDubbbz had to make a YouTube video. Like, I don't understand this. Like, and I want to ask this person the same thing I asked the chatter. Like, do you, again, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know about the harassment that Ethan Klein was sending towards smaller creators. I don't know how they wouldn't know that because it's literally in the fucking thing you're replying to. You notice how he didn't address this part? You notice how he didn't address this part here? And it went back to just, oh, but the fighters are out of thousands of dollars. No words on the community that he is cultivating is brigading smaller creators. And that's the problem. For some reason, people like Shake Drizzle, like Ludwig, don't view these smaller creators as worthy of defense. I don't know why. I genuinely, I do not know why. I'm trying my best to try to rationalize the reason. I don't know why they don't view Frogan, Denims, Casey Tron, myself, Anissa, right? And the dozens of smaller creators or posters or just people in general that Ethan has harassed as worthy of defending. I don't know. I don't know. So, like, because you know people who paid thousands of dollars a month of training, right? And that's what you're like, the people you know directly, but you can't rationalize or contextualize why, I don't know, maybe Ian would talk about why his friends are being harassed and are getting death threats. My most charitable guess is that he's trying to avoid harassment for H3 given their history of cutie. Then shut the fuck up. Then don't talk about it. This isn't even the first time. Ludwig does this all the time. This is his third time talking about Creator Clash 3. His third time talking about it. So I can't even agree with that. Because after the first time I was like, oh, maybe. Second time I was like, eh. Third time I was like, definitely not. It's just, it's so. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know.
Was about to go
Track
get
3
that
Moonchild
He wants to chime in but not reference H3, yeah.
Zoe_Karomi. They have given 16 gift subs in the channel.
Jack Moonchild, thank you for the gifted sub. This is the end result of treating your life like a business. You don't stand for anything because it might hurt your money, and you can't stand for anyone because it might hurt your money. Yeah. Yeah. He's under a lens of drama when this harassment is going to possibly put smaller creators into generational debt. They don't care. Right? Until somebody eventually picks it up and says like, hey, well, what Ethan's doing is a bit too far. Then we'll get a Ludwig video about it. Trust. If Charlie ever picks it up, if Charlie picks up this tomorrow and says, man, Ethan suing these people is a bit far for someone with all this money. You better believe. You better believe. Ludwig will talk about it then. He won't, but I'm saying that if that happened. Right? And that's the problem with the Thin Purple line, is that somebody somewhere has to be the first person to step in and be like, this is bad. And to be fair, like that was Ian. That was Ian. Ian stepped up and was like, hey, this harassment that Ethan is doing is bad. You know? This harassment that Ethan is doing is bad, it's not good. I have to call it out. Hey, you notice how like everybody is avoiding that part? Now they're throwing him under the bus? Yeah. Because for whatever reason, this space is not defending or not worth defending. Maybe it's because it's political adjacent, right? Maybe they genuinely just don't like us. You know? We know Ludwig doesn't like Frogan. Right? They genuinely might not see us as like people. They see us as competition. Not even. Right? They don't see us as being materially beneficial enough to defend. I think they just don't get anything, so they don't care. Yeah. That's it. That's it. I think, you know the concept of the perfect victim, chat? I think it's that. Creators will defend smaller creators when they feel as though they can come across as like the good guys in that situation. Creators love being seen as the good guys. You know, stepping up to defend the underdog. You know? But I think because we are political adjacent, then like they don't see that as worthwhile. Because politics is like scary. They definitely don't see it as competition. They just don't care because you're not huge creators. You're political and you're minorities. Yeah. I feel like people view anyone speaking out against injustice as making a choice to put themselves at risk, and therefore they don't view themselves as victims when something bad happens to them. That's part of it for sure. I think it's hard to ignore how central politics in Palestine are to this convo. It's kind of weird for Led to comment on this at all. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much else to add. Because this section has been going on for like 2 hours now. And I don't envy myself in the next 5 or so hours to cut it down into something manageable. But yeah. Disappointing. Disappointing. Like, what are we talking about? There's actually some more. I say sorry again for misunderstanding. Thanks for explaining. Now you're good, chatter. I don't take my back and forth with chat too seriously. Chat does need to learn to stop adding people when I talk about them, though. I gotta be better about that. If somebody's pulled up on the screen, stop adding them. It's kind of hard to have a conversation when they're flooded with, you know, at messages. Britain says, man, come on, surely standing up for personal values after a close friend has become a malicious force is more important than capital. Is it still capital if it's for charity? Then yeah, sometimes personal values take a step back and you don't end up in a spot where people are out thousands and months of training. This is funny because this isn't even Maya's name. This is not a person, chat. Yeah, I didn't expect this tweet to do well, honestly. But the fighters were paid. The fighters were paid, I think, what the purse was. He's talking about like being out like training money and stuff. Which I think they might have gotten pay for out of pocket. I don't know the intricacies. But yeah, I didn't expect this tweet to do well. It still feels weird to like talk about, even from the perspective of the fighters. Like I don't think it's good the fighters are out all the time that they spent training. I think that's bad. Which is why, if you genuinely cared about that, why is your energy not towards the people who were trying to torpedo the event? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, if Ludwig said it was dumb to post the creator clash, but also there's just all this harassment that's going on around the event that I think was unacceptable, that would be one thing. But he didn't. He didn't. He didn't do that. Because it feels like people are like, it's like completely ignoring Pirate Software's involvement in Stop Killing Games, taking it and blaming the creator. Yeah, that's a good example. That is a really good example. Yeah, it's like if you talk about Stop Killing Games and you yell about Ross being bad for Stop Killing Games, you don't talk about Pirate Software trying to torpedo the entire thing. That would be silly to do, because that is an integral part of the story that got to the initiative stonewalling in the first place. And if somebody did that, I would call that out as well. You know? I watched too many of that dude's videos. Stop. People talk about it yet? I'm wondering if he blamed it on anyone. No, he wouldn't actually blame it on anyone. I don't think Will would blame it on anybody. I also don't think Will would talk about it much. He'll be like, it's not happening. It's unfortunate. But I'm glad charity's getting some money. I think that's what Will would say. Right? Because nobody wants to talk about the literal giant hippopotamus in the room of like the harassment campaign. Who doesn't talk about this stuff? Yeah. I like Will. Will, unlike some people, follows me on Twitch. So shout out Will. It was the elephant. The hippopotamus ate the elephant. So anyway, that's it. That's my take. And I'm not looking forward to editing this video. Maybe I'll make it 2 parts. Maybe I'll talk about the Ludwig part originally. And then I'll do a part 2 video about like the Shake Drizzle replies and stuff. Try and get Lotto on stream. I don't think I'll get Lotto on stream. I'm gonna be real. Ask Shake Drizzle to edit it. Yeah, that'd be funny. There's some league matches to relax. No, I got a pack, chat. I got a pack. I got a plane ride. I gotta hop on the plane at LAX. Oh, so I have to do that. Fly safe. I'll try. Miley, is that you? Yeah. Getting your private jet already? Stop. It's easy editing. I'll have to see how long it will be. I mean, Squeak, if you want to take a look at it and how much material there is, maybe. But yeah, that's That's all my takes. Do you like your flights? I sleep on my flights. Because I fly at like the latest of nights. So no, I'm not sitting on my flight like this. Baby's crying around me. Some dude behind me is just like coughing because he probably has COVID or something. Like, no, I'm putting my headphones in. I'm putting my head on my jacket like a pillow, and I'm going to freaking sleep. Flying to Love Island, maybe. Maybe you'll see me in the villa next week. Who knows? Who brought up flights scare me? Yeah. Friend of the show made it on the news, by the way. True. Shout out Maya. I love Maya. The show is so vapid, dear God. It is, but like, it's a good watch. I'll say it. It's a good watch. Okay.
Processing what has been going on the last few days in Texas, really unimaginable, but that's just what so many people are now trying to do.
Yeah, not just people affected, but animals as well. Joining us now is Maya Higa, founder and executive director of the Alvis Sanctuary. Tell us a little bit about your sanctuary. I want to start immediately with, it seems like everyone is safe, all your animals are safe, but tell us about where you are, what you do, and how you came to deal with these floods on Friday.
Hi, yeah. So we're an animal sanctuary out in Austin, Texas. We rescue animals from all over the country and then do conservation education programs with them online. The floods were kind of crazy. We had a lot of heavy rain for hours, actually for days. And one of our reservoirs overflowed onto a road. So we lost our road entirely behind me over here.
And what are the main services that you're providing for the animals?
So we rescue animals that are illegally confiscated pets, permanently injured wildlife, and we bring them here and take
Is
really
that
good
Wake?
care of them. And then we do conservation education programs online. So we teach people about how they can help our
Oh, and
natural
Connor?
world. We have
That's funny.
streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that come out. We've had a few in the past couple days come out to fundraise for us to help rebuild this road. But it's an awesome time, but the rain has been crazy.
Well, you mentioned the rain was going on for days. Can you give us a timeline of what it was like late week, the rain, and then once you realized you were going to be dealing with high water, what you needed to do, how you acted?
Yeah, so 2 days ago, it started raining really heavy, which is not super abnormal, but then it just didn't stop. So we were unable to get any staff in or out of the sanctuary the day before yesterday. And so we had one person living on site who was taking care of all of the animals and my
Thoughts on Wake? Wake Wilder? Wake Wilder's it's cool. I met Wake at TwitchCon. Yeah. He's cool. He's nice. He's tall and buff.
self that was able to get here to take care of the animals. And since then, we've just been trying to rebuild this road. All of our animals are safe and all of our staff are safe. We're really, really lucky for that. But we have a lot of work ahead of us. It's actually been kind of clear today, though. We were scared we were going to get a bunch of rain. I know there's going to be more tonight, though.
Well, tell us about some of the support that has come in since all of this
How
has happened to
fixing
help
the
you all
road?
out.
Well, Chatter, you can actually go and watch Maya, who is live currently right now, to see how streamers are fixing the road. But that's not Maya. That's Emeru. That's a different person. But it's on Maya's stream. Apparently, Lean Beef Patty's also there. Lean Beef Patty and Emeru and Cinna and Peach.
It's been unreal. So we have done a fundraiser on Instagram. We've been doing fundraisers on Twitch and YouTube as well. We've raised, with other streamers coming out here to visit us too, we've raised around $180,000, which is so much more than I expected, more than anyone could have ever anticipated. So a lot of that will go into rebuilding this road, and then a lot of it will also go into building new bird of prey enclosures. We're going to rescue some hawks and eagles and owls and vultures, hopefully in the future. So we're building new enclosures for them.
Maya, we've showed some of the aerial footage of the damage. Obviously, the road washed out. Looks like a lot of tree damage as well. Can you give us a sense of how many trees were taken down?
Yeah, so we didn't.
I'm so happy to see streamers in the news, not for like causing riots or rampant sexual assault, but like for like nice stuff like this, you know? This does good for us a little bit.
Lose any large trees actually, but all of the roads leading out here, there's been huge chunks of pavement that have just fallen off the road. I've never seen anything like it. They were floating like ice sheets the first day I tried to get here. We haven't lost a ton of trees.
Also, apparently Maya is Gen Z. Did y'all know that, chat? I didn't know Maya was Gen Z. I feel bad for for asking Maya if she was Gen Z or not, because it kind of sounded like I was calling her old. So like we're like 2 years apart. I thought she was older. I'm gonna be real. Not like old, right? But I thought she was like Hassan age. Do you not watch Wine About It? I watch Wine About It. Not an episode where they say how old she is. Don't even know how gens work, but I also don't care. But that's a different story.
But
so she was
we
42.
lost
No, I thought she was 32 ish. You know, I thought she was like 30, 32. How old are you? I'm 24. Maya is like within 2 years of me. Maya's like the same age as like my older brother, which is kind of crazy.
a culvert pipe, which has been a huge problem for us.
I'm not 35.
And there's a bunch of debris floating through the floodwater too, which is kind of scary. So we're
Because it's
doing
going
our
to
best.
Maya. What do you mean? I'm not calling her old. I'm just saying that she's younger than I originally thought that she was. It's a compliment.
Safe and get it all out of the water.
Yeah, and I was going to get at what are some of the hazards that you're most concerned about, even going forward, that put the animals in danger?
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out the best and safest way to reroute all this water because there's just so much. It won't stop. And it hasn't rained all day, but it feels like the water hasn't slowed down at all. So we're watching for debris floating through that water. And we're trying to make it so that we don't lose this road again. We have a long road ahead of us to rebuild it all. But that's our main concern is
Get it, chat? Long road ahead of us. It's a little pun.
rerouting this water and keeping everybody safe.
Maya, how long have you lived in the area? A lot of people that we've talked to throughout the weekend have said, it's common for us to get flash flood, even some, fast-moving flash flood waters. Have you seen anything like this?
Absolutely not. No, I've lived here since 2020, so
Yeah,
not crazy long.
Route 27. That's not what I said. What did I say actually? Not to check. It was normal. I quote tweeted or I quote messaged the video that she posted, calling her the Gen Z Jane Goodall, and I was like, "Wait, you're Gen Z?" And she was like, "LL, yeah, I'm 27." I was like, "That's a completely normal and justified age." I just assume everybody who's older than me is millennial. That's what I said.
But I've never seen rain like this. We've never had any water wash over this road, let alone take out the entire road. So it's definitely unprecedented for us.
Tell us a story or two about some of the more, let's say, unusual creatures that you have living there and what their special needs might be.
Yeah, so we have a lot of really, really special animal ambassadors here. We call them wildlife ambassadors. We have 2 marmosets. Somebody bought them as pets online in the city of Austin, actually, and he didn't know how to take care of them. So we were able to rescue them. They had metabolic bone disease, dental disease. One of them was not able to use his
Also,
back
Chad, you're a
leg.
little bit late. Maya announced that I think 2 days ago. As well.
And so we were able to bring them to the sanctuary, do rehabilitation, get them totally healthy, and now we have them here to teach people about the exploitation of primates in the pet trade.
Well, Maya Higa, we thank you so much for the work you're doing, and of course for sharing your story, your recap of the weekend. And glad everyone, both people and animals at your location, are safe.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Such an important.
She did very well. Good job, Maya. She did great. I thought Vegas blocked me for a second. I was like, that's crazy. We are Maya Higa. True. Okay, chat. That's what I'm going to call it. I literally have not even started packing yet. I have to pack. And then, oh, my neck. next time you see me, whether it's tomorrow or the day after it, you're gonna get content from me regardless. Like you're gonna get a video from me anyway. But either tomorrow or the day after, you're going to. I'm gonna be in a different location, so look out for that. I don't like flying. It's fine. I need to stay up and not take a nap so I can sleep on the plane. No, I'm not gonna be in Austin. That would be funny though. But no, I'm not gonna be in Austin. Honestly, if I was just like, Maya, I'm in Austin now. Let me come help at LVA. She'd be like, no, I don't want you here. I'll be like, aw. IRL stream where we watch you sleep on the plane. I don't know if that's legal, actually. You probably can't IRL stream on the plane. Too controversial? True. Show up on the Majority Report next? Maybe, who knows? Maybe. Get a trading card from the pilot, show it. You definitely probably maybe can't, yeah. Raid Maya so we can ask her where the invite is. It is illegal. Oh, everything is illegal on planes, bro. It's almost like those are like flying death traps. You need to keep them safe somehow. Anyway, I do have to call it. All right, chat. You got like a 3-hour stream from me when I wasn't even supposed to stream today. All right. Any final thoughts? Oh, my eye hurts. Yeah, I sent you to Maya. Maya. Alrighty. Watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I saw it. Maybe I'll watch it on the plane. Wait, no, I can't. I literally can't watch it on the plane because Netflix will not let me watch it because I am not at the household. But hopefully, if I go home, I can snag on the Wi-Fi and then it will unlock my Netflix. Maybe. Wait, do I have to bring my TV back with me? How does that work? Pirate it? Listen, if I was going to do that, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. All right. Oh, I saw a chatter I wanted to respond to. Thank you. You are valid for feeling the way you do about these creators. Thank you. I'm obviously correct. It's IP based, obviously. That's not how that works. Like, if I have my PS5, do I have to fly back with my PS5? Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, I'm out. Adios.